Hello, friends. Tony and Rochelle here with the Roadtripzee Podcast. As you can see, we are on the road again. We have just left Patti's 1880's settlement where we talked to Ann Martin, one of their co-CEOs. If you're into stories about 2-inch pork chops, the moving of cabins from the 1800s, moonshine, holiday dresses, and millions of Christmas lights, then you'll want to listen in. Here we go. Take us from the beginning of how all of this happened.
How Miss Patti even, came into
Exactly.
Grand Rivers. That's, I guess, the biggest
yeah.
part of it because, they were from many different places around the world. Bill was in the insurance field and went and did major insurance catastrophes. And so he came here for earthquake insurance. And he fell in love with it. She was still in Hawaii and in different places. They had moved California because they were in the service. And so he said, I think this is a place Patti would really love. And she did. And she fell in love with it and bought a little motel, a little 6-unit motel, cedar block one that we're sitting on top of. It was here where we're sitting right now.
That's cool.
Yeah, if the documentaries, you can go in and look at YouTube and look at the stories that Chip tells us and about his mom and dad. And we're sitting inside the shell right after the fire before they tore it down. They let us go in there and sit, and he tells stories about different parts of the room. And it is, there's tears. Him and Michael Lee tell stories, and some funny ones about squirrels and animals. Everything ends up with an animal, it seems like, in our stories, being in the country. But they came in, they decided that they would rent the little rooms out. Well, Miss Patti always loved to cook. And so with that, Bill would go up and down the streets, and he would take roses to the marinas, to the ladies. He was a ladies' man.
Okay.
And with that, he'd put a note on there that said, come see us at then it was Miss Patti's. He goes, we didn't really have a restaurant; it was more of the motel. So they would bring them in, and as more people started coming, she started closing the rooms off to dining rooms in the motel.
Oh.
So it became then the restaurant itself, and that was Hamburger Patty's Ice Cream.
So was that the original rooms?
Yes.
Before the fire?
Before the fire, it was all originally motel rooms that had been changed over into dining rooms. Yeah, and they lived in one of the motel rooms in the back. And then if you'll look, the upstairs room, we call it the upstairs room, or the top room, that was originally a dining room that she finally got them to make into a living room for her. Because she'd never had her own living room where the family could come and stay at Christmas. And so she had her own bathroom in that one, never had a bathroom before. And her tub, her clawfoot tub that was in that room is still today in this room over here in the restaurant. It's right the next room over. And Indian Joe sits in that, and that's where Indian Joe was before. So that, lots of meaning, of course, in that whole restaurant that was there, and it was called Hamburger Patty's Ice Cream. She developed all her recipes back in the kitchen of that place. They put a kitchen in, and in there the story kind of evolved into where we are today.
You all are so well known for the 2-inch pork chop.
We are.
So where did that come from?
That came from, there was a pork chop, and he had ran out of pork chops. Bill had actually ran out of pork chops.
Okay.
And so they charbroiled one really quickly and, brought to temp and made it servable, and then put this sauce on it that he had developed, this pork chop sauce that we sell now that is everybody's craze. And that it was a 2-inch, and the taste, and it just was a hit from the get-go. And so they started charbroiling these ones where they do it on 4 sides, they score it, they dip it. It's a process that they do, and it's been carried through the years. And I think that was the biggest thing coming from the fire to now, was making sure that this food still tasted the same, because that, no matter what you looked like, or no matter who you brought in here, the food had to kind of compare, and we've been able to, and that's through the staff that we've had, because we still have staff that have been here for years and years. I've been here since 1998, And then my she's been here. She started as a server, and I started over at the hotel. So you've got servers that have been here 30 years. So, and Patti and Bill's son, Chip, and Michael Lee are still involved in it. Chip stays at the bed and breakfast. We have a bed and breakfast also. And so he is also a founder. So he has a lot of the recipes that he developed along the way. The menu is the same menu we've had. We don't change it.
Yes.
And it's done well for us, and you don't fix what's not broken.
So you mentioned the fire. When was that?
The fire was February 5th, 2018.
2018.
Yes, and we, it wasn't that we lost it due to fire itself. The fire started up in the ceilings, and then they got it out enough, but the water damage, and then the age, and it was an old building, and it had they found a gas line under it they didn't know was there, so they had to do some things. And then it wasn't, I guess, a blessing, the best blessing I think you would have to say that comes from all of it is now we are so much more accessible. The wheelchairs and things. It was such tight corners. Were y'all there before? Yeah. So you knew how it was hard. It was very hard for people to get in and out of. So that is a big blessing because now we can have more room and more space. Now we are smaller. It doesn't seem like it.
It sure does.
But
not
we
seem
are.
Like it.
Yeah, we're about 76 seats smaller than. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Bill's, which we're sitting in Bill's right now, Bill's dining room, and it is 100 seats is what we have in here. And the old Bill's back in the restaurant, it was like 200, 105. So, you took those seats out of here so you could do some more of the small rooms. That's what the people wanted. Rhinestone room, the first red room, the rhinestone room that's up there. That was our original small room.
Okay.
Only one we really had that was, for private. And that was the, private, because it's just more of a unique experience.
I think to rebuild after a fire, I think that tells a lot about the commitment.
Yes. And it was rocky. Let me tell you, there was a night. There was meetings. I was in all the meetings. It was myself. There was a group of us, myself and Terry and Chip, Michael Lee, Joe, our CFO, and Audie, our bookkeeper, and we went through many. I'm too old because it was Chip then and Michael Lee. I'm not going to rebuild. And then we'd be like, oh. But what the concept of what we knew that was going to be so devastating is Livingston County doesn't have that much of a workforce. So, there's not that many things that these people can do around here to be able to stay here. Not everybody wants to move away, and so. My necklace is dead. Put it in my shirt.
It's fine.
But we have been able to bring now 260 employees. So that's 260 jobs to this area. So that was, I think, the reason that when we would all meet, we would all say, what about these people? Because we held on to them, too, after the fire. We found things for everybody to do. We cleaned up the area. We painted the hotel. We did that painting on the outside of the bed and breakfast just to keep employing these people, thinking that we'd be able to get in here a little bit quicker than we did. We weren't able to after they had to tear everything down. It took a lot longer, for us to open back up. And so we opened up in November 25th, actually, I know, because it was the day before my daughter's birthday. We opened up in November. So it was right before Thanksgiving, and we wanted to get it open for Christmas, and so we opened up that night.
And what,
2019?
2019, okay.
2019.
Yeah.
We had a food trailer in between. So the life of the food trailer, yes, we know we never want to buy another food trailer. That's one thing. If you ask my co, she'll go, I'm not buying a food truck. What if no?
The answer,
Yeah. She was in, we have such different roles, her and I. She is hands-on down here. She's a server. She can tell you the menu. She can tell you everything back and forth.
Sure.
She is the guts of this restaurant in that sense. And she's at work. You may walk up to her and she may not even have a conversation with you because she's
focused.
She's focused, and here I am over there. Hey, so we kind of I think
there's a balance.
There is a balance there, and I want to give a shout out to her because she is amazing, and I love everything she does. And we've never had a cross words. We'll always bounce ideas off each other, and I talk to her more than pretty much anybody. So
Patty's seems to be much more than just a restaurant. I mean, this is a destination.
It is. It is.
Tell us a little bit about everything that's here.
Well, there is so much, and not even just the area that we're in. You know, I'm into these two Great Lakes. So if you're boaters or you're hikers, you got LBL, you know, and then if you want to come to dining and family atmosphere here, it's the greatest part of it, I feel like, is you see the kids out there playing on the playground. There's miniature golf, there's the koi pond, there's boat works, there's mining. There's just something for the kids to do, and so the family can come here. And it's one thing that I get asked as I walk up and down the halls, do you have the Wi-Fi password? And I am like, I am sorry, I do not. Miss Patti does not allow us to give that out. And it is legitimately true, even though she's passed, but she wanted family to be family, sitting at the table. And so that has been instilled with me, I guess, with Chip. I sit and listen to all the stories, and Chip will say, you know, Mama didn't want, you know, Miss Patti didn't want, and I'm like, so that is one thing. You got to have good service to be on your phone in here. That's kind of and you know, we do get in trouble over that. Lots of people want that, but it's family oriented, and in the fact of this, tomorrow is our first character event.
Okay.
In COVID, we got down to Terry and I were the only ones on the checking account. I mean, we were the only ones getting a paycheck. I could say not checking out, but getting a paycheck. Got down to that during COVID. It was we hadn't got insurance funding. We hadn't opened. We opened up in November of 2019, and then we were closed 3 months after for COVID, the first closing of COVID.
So
and so we were, and then we're closed again after that again. You know, the state closed us 2 times, and so we hired these 200 plus people. Our core is probably about 200. 3 times, you know, we promise, and then like you know, it was such a, so you know, got down to we for 2 weeks we made strawberry butter and jarred it and sold it on the sidewalk, shipped it. We would go to the post office with big crates, and thank goodness we have so many good followers, and they bought that strawberry butter. They wanted more, but we only 2 little people could do, and because we dip it personally in our jars. So you know, I think that the people that are running it, not just for me per se, we've got a team, amazing team. They've been through the grit, they've been through the fight, and they know what it took to get it back and going. And the guests are worth it, because our guests are table 1 in the family room. I talked to a table the other day. They have had, out of 47 wedding anniversaries, they have been here 38 of them.
Wow. At
that table. Yeah. And that's the same table, because the tables we were sitting on were saved from the fire. So everything was saved. The memorabilia off the walls we were able to get, the chairs we weren't able to, and some little things on the floor. But other than that, I think that brought back that true Patty's feel, is because what surrounds you, and then the people. Mm-hmm. That same 200 came back.
Yeah, the staff you have here, the community you all have been able to build is clear and evident to those of us who are visiting.
Yeah.
They are endeared
to
this community you all have created.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of what you all have. I think they feel.
Yeah, feels like coming home.
Yeah, you know? That's awesome. Yeah. That's a great, and that's what we want it to feel like, you know, like they know when you come back, I've seen you before, thanks for coming back. You know, they appreciate you.
And the anniversaries you mentioned, you know, that was like, we ate here last night and we listened to Let Me Call You Sweetheart being sang by your staff twice. Yeah. Because there were 2 anniversaries
back to back or in the room.
We were eating.
Yeah, and they sang well.
Yes. We know which ones to pull out.
They're part of staff training, probably.
You know, and it's funny. A lot of them get so nervous with some of them after they do it 1 or 2 times. You know, they see the smiles that it brings. You know, first the humiliation, and then the smile afterwards. It's so unique. Yeah,
but that's something that started with Bill and Patti as well, right?
It did. All that. And it's not even. It's true charming. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I think that's what it's not. It's not a fake place you go into. It's truly.
You know, the buzzword these days is authenticity. We want it.
It's very authentic.
And so that really is a truly rooted in their authenticity thing.
Yes.
So holidays are coming up.
Yes.
And I had read recently on one of your social posts
Mm-hmm.
that there is an amazing crew you have.
Yes.
They start working Labor Day.
Yes. Yeah, well, August 1 is usually
Okay.
when it kind of starts to switching over the lights outside, because most of the color lights, if you don't take them down, they fade or they get ate by squirrels.
Okay.
Go back to where we live again.
Mm-hmm.
So they are unstripped and then stripped again, and then also too it damages the trees quite a bit if you continually. They'll grow into them, and
Sure.
then so and Ricky, who has been with us, I saw did a post recently about Ricky, or Beverly did, and he cares about every plant and tree out there. We don't have any type of watering system out there. It's all hand watered, hand fed, hand growed, because we try to even bring some tropical plants out, and we don't have that type of demographic or our area.
Right.
And so we take the plants in pots in and out every year, and Ricky just smiles and loves every bit of it. So
Y'all have a greenhouse back there.
we
that
have
you
2 big
save them.
greenhouses,
Okay.
yes. And you can go in there in the winter. It can be snow on the ground, and it's like 82 degrees. I told him I'm going to start putting my lawn chair out there and with the umbrella and serving drinks.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so nice. It is nice.
Patty South, perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It would be,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, more on that later.
Okay, we'll come
and
back to
talk-
that. Yeah,
we'll come and talk
That's
to you
that's
about
a new
that
idea.
in a few months.
Yeah.
So can you tell us any behind the scenes magic with the holiday lights? Do you all even know how many lights you're?
We
have
do.
out
He
there?
told me it's funny because a lot of the lights, we try to still keep a lot of the old style lights, but anymore you can't get those C7 bulbs and all those things, so we're having to go over it a little bit more. But he said, there was over 1,600,000 this year just in the back. So, yeah,
Wow.
I'm so excited. He did let me a glimpse of the back porch of Ashley's Boutique. They kind of have their areas, everybody does, and that was his area, started a couple years ago, and so he blew it out of the park. He made this, it's a maze you go through, and it's like a gingerbread house, and then elf's house, and it is the coolest thing, and kids can go through it, and you cut out so we can do the pictures. He knocked it out of the park. So he brought me into that. I couldn't go look for 2 months. Or a month, excuse me, and then a month and a half later, then he let me in there, and it was
I
so
love it.
Oh, it's so cute.
And of course, so it's over 1.5 million lights.
Yes, just outside. That's not counting all the decor that's inside. Yeah, and that has been done. It just
Good
got
point.
finished this week.
Yeah.
Because now Terry and his team, there's 3 of them. They do every room in here. He'll finish the bathrooms by the end of this week, and then he goes outside into the gazebo,
Okay.
and that gazebo, it's not even open. It's got separate rooms you go into that are photo opportunities.
Okay.
I think he's got 8 in there this year, and then Santa is in the very center of it. I'm like 1, 2, 3. Wow,
Wonderland.
It is.
Yes,
Did you come last year? Were you all able?
We came maybe 2 years
years
Two years ago. Then
Yeah.
you need to come back. It
Okay.
is. I told him, I said, you're just, somebody's going to steal you from me, but you're not going anywhere. No,
We can't
but
talk
he's-
about it too much.
Yes,
right?
but he is too. I mean, but that's your core. He's been here for, 22 years, I guess. And then Terry's been here, and Ricky's been here 25 years. It's that core.
Our waitress last night had been here 13 years.
Yes. Well, once you get here, you're like, why would I should have always been here.
Yeah, she said she
I
loves
mean,
it,
it starts
loves
from the top. It's positivity. It's I don't go through the kitchen, and it's not an I thing. We don't go through the kitchen that we don't. I'm going to ask you. You know what I mean? They're in there. I just talked to every one of them. I'm like, how's your chickens, Gina? I call her the chicken farmer. I see these people, these are my family. And I think when the ones that come here that need family, because there's a lot of people out there that need some family, and that these age, we talk about these kids these days, and they don't have the family, a lot of them, like we did growing up. I see it. And so when they come in here, then we're like, okay, come in here, bear hug, you're a part of us now. You're going to act right, you're going to, this is the way we do things here because we respect each other. And I think they see the respect, feel the respect. They earn their check, but they are well taken care of.
And then you all taking care of them.
Yes.
Then, just
Yep.
it's a symbiotic process. Then they take
Care of the
good-
customers, and they, it just,
Makes
it
everyone-
filters down. It does. It
makes
really
everyone
does.
feel like a treasured guest.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Because
so-
you come here. We're in a little bitty place here. An average guest is 2.5-hour drive to get to us.
Okay.
And so it's that first initial when you get into the hostess podium. That's the hardest part about Christmas coming up now, because you've got some that just drive in, and they're like, we just thought we could get in, and you're on a 4-hour wait, because you're trying to get everybody you can get in, but you can't seat the world. But so that's it. That's the hard part of it when you're so busy, so.
And so major tip, pro
Major
tip, will
tip
be,
is
go
we
to
take
your website.
reservations
Right.
a year in advance.
Okay.
That's the major tip.
Yeah.
For next year, we're so it's and a lot of people know that now, and they'll come in, and when they're on, they'll group it, they'll take it for next year. They'll make a reservation.
So they can just go to your website.
They can.
Grand
Yeah.
Rivers.
Our website is
sorry.
Patty's. It's Patty's1880's.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patty's
If you
1880.
Google Patty's,
it'll
usually
come right
the
up.
website.
Okay.
Yeah, goes
And
right
then
there.
right on your website.
Yeah, it
is
says
where you can
it
make
says
the
book.
reservation.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's a great,
And then
easy tool.
everything we've just been talking about with the holiday lights and all of
Yes.
that, and the photo ops and all those things, all of that is free.
It is. It is outside, and that's one thing Chip has always said, that he gives back to the community, for the community visiting and the locals. For every table I go to, I do that when I'm here. Mondays and Tuesdays I was in the office, but the other days I come out and I greet tables to see where they're from, to see, have you been here before? And there's generally a local that's brought some friends, and so those are the people that you want to, you
They're
want
your
them
best
to keep coming.
ambassadors.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So,
For sure.
yeah, that's I take always call ahead. That is the biggest tip I could say, because if you can't get in, maybe we can get you in tomorrow, or we can get you, we can find some place, but I'd rather you call to see than just drive all the way here and then
So
be
people
heartbroken.
can get a reservation by calling.
They can, usually, if we can find it. Now, your Saturdays right
Right,
now,
if-
yeah.
if
But
anything is
normally, if
available.
you call, or leave a message, we can get you in there. But open table it's accurate, but if they have big groups or,
Sure,
so.
Sure.
But we
that's
do our best.
Yeah. And so how many shops do you all have here in the,
In
do
the
you all call
settlement?
it in the settlement?
Yeah, we call them shop. There's 8 of them. We have, they all kind of dote around the back of the settlement, around the gazebo, and that was brought in. Chip always felt like if they wanted to come this far, you needed to kind of have an entertainment, something to do. It's a great place to wait, so if you do get on the wait list, a lot of people come in and get on the wait list and then just spend the day, and they knew
Sure.
they were, because we start the wait list at 10:30 in the morning.
Okay.
So, and then it carries on. You can get in sooner then, but it carries out throughout the day. So that just gave entertainment, and again, the kids gave the kids something to do, and
Sure.
people on the streets. This interstate's busy, and they stop in, and the dogs more than welcome to walk the dogs out there. So it's dog
That's a
friendly
great-
out
yeah.
back. Yeah, so just a place to stretch your legs and kind of enjoy it, and it's free. The lights are on nightly. They're on now. It's a smaller version, but they'll come on for Christmas. The main show on the first Friday of November always is when it is. Whenever it falls. This year it falls Halloween, then the first Friday. It's kind of crazy. We've never had them back to back like this.
Right.
But they come on then nightly at 4:00, and then they turn off at 9:00.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can wander through.
Yeah, and there's a playground there as
There
well.
is. The playground's back there. Santa will be here after Thanksgiving. We
Okay.
have Grinch that is here. We
That's
have
exciting.
princesses that come and stay. So each night through December, every night has some type of character, because the kids, again, that was something we did again in COVID, is we brought the character breakfast in.
Okay.
And that is, we have our first one tomorrow morning.
Okay.
At 9 a.m., we fill the whole restaurant all the way through with kids and parents. They buy tickets for breakfast, and then we have 10 to 12 characters, and they'll do one-on-one table seating with them, and they
Wow.
visit, and the kids love it. It's those things that the kids, again, where we're from, not everybody gets to go to Florida and goes, luckily I took my kids to see Chef Mickey and all those different things. There's some kids that don't get that opportunity, and so we have 7 of those throughout November and December, and it's kind of us, again, coming in early, doing the breakfast. It's an easy, because we're already here. And then we go right into 11 o'clock.
Because you all do not serve breakfast typically.
We
so
do
these
not.
Are
No,
special
these are
events.
special events, and they
Yeah.
sell out very quickly. I think there was a couple of tickets left for some November ones, but those are fun ones. And then we all get to dress up. And tomorrow is our big Halloween for the employees. There's prizes tomorrow. I mean, it's a big day tomorrow for all the employees. They'll be dressed up for Halloween. So because we have our Halloween Grinch tomorrow at breakfast in the morning. I'll be here bright and early in the morning.
Okay.
Yes,
And
I'm
so-
strawberry shortcake.
So it all begins.
Yes, it does. This is the kickoff tomorrow.
The holiday wave of fun.
Yes,
And holly and
they
jolly.
love it. The girls get to change their dresses. That's a big thing. The changing over the Christmas dresses, and they're new this year. We've got a beautiful. This room will be gorgeous now that I just think about it. I need to get them all in here because they are navy blue with gold, and they have white deer on them. They are so pretty.
lovely.
The girls love blue, so it's a pretty blue dress. So yes, we have new dresses.
Lovely.
They will start that the first Friday of November. The changing of the dresses.
That sounds like, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Let's hype that up.
Yes, and then have you ever been to the celebration itself? Have you ever been to the lighting festival?
We really did. We
Oh, you
have to
should-
come back next week too, right?
It is. Well, what we do is it goes, that night is completely dark in the back because there's always usually lights out there. It's almost dangerously dark. Don't call me in, but because we have some flashlights out there. But I'm like, Ricky, we can't go completely black. He was like, oh, but we have to make it wow. So as the Bill Minahan with Badgett Playhouse, who is across the street at Badgett Playhouse, him and his wife and his there's so many of them, saxophone players, trumpet players, drums. They come in and they play in the gazebo. So they play at 5 o'clock they start, and at 6 o'clock we will then start with, we name all the employees that have been out there. We just kind of do
Wow.
and a Chip comes up and usually speaks, and we have a good time. And then we do a countdown, and it starts with it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And we're all singing because we like to sing around here. So we're all singing, and the lights around we have 6 acres. The lights come on change the alarm. The lights come all the way around as the song goes on, and then the last light is us inside the gazebo, and then we light up with all the trees around us. It is it's so
Magical.
Exactly. You keep saying magical, and it is magical. It's hard to. So that's kind of a gasping thing. So and it's a homecoming. You've got so many that every year they come for that, and Santa and Mrs. Claus are there, and they have a little reindeer they bring, and an elf, and Grinch is here.
It must be important if Santa's made it.
Santa comes
made time
in.
on his schedule.
He's here Friday and Saturday. Yes, he's a beautiful Santa too. So.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
I mean, that is no small thing.
No. That is a big production. That yes, it's like
it's
it was
chore-
just yesterday too. So you know how that is.
Yeah.
Life flies. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're already at lighting
Where
ceremony
are you
again.
doing it again?
Yeah,
It's almost like a choreograph
it is.
with
it is.
people,
It is.
with live people
Yes,
and instruments.
music,
and
instruments, lights. Because also it's a lot, like you say. There's so much. If there was we always say there's a reality show here because of course when you have 206, we had 267. I said it goes up and down. We lose people up and down, up and down. But I said it's the things that you have to do in the background. There are, for all the lights, there's timer boxes, but you manually, to start them, you have to flip them on during this. And I think at one point, I can't even remember, there was, 20, 25 of them. So you got people everywhere. Back in the old days, we were like, how are we going to make sure everybody does this at the same time? Somebody always forgets or is always behind, or and it's the joke of who, so that's always a fun part too.
This is not programmed artificial intelligence happening here.
This is not like some people would go and they have a keyboard and they go light 7, light 4. No, this is Johnny. Why are you not turning your lights on?
He missed his mark. He didn't mean to.
Yeah,
I
we'll
love
say
that.
Johnny's not on the list next year. I did it one time. I got to be in, because you got to climb sometimes, because these boxes are not just like, here's a box. In Wagon Wheel, you had to go behind a wall, and then you couldn't really hear anybody because you're behind a wall. And so I was just looking out this window that really needed to be cleaned. I felt that night, and to flip on my box, and I was late.
You're
But
doing the best you can.
I was with what the equipment. What? It was very vocal the next year when somebody had to go back in that spot. They got you.
Yeah.
They
'cause
flipped it
they're-
on. Yeah. So
sorry
it's
about
always
that.
a fun. So we got one year. I bought a little thing that we push down when the lights come on. And last year, this little girl that kept watching me with that, and so I let her come over. I said, "Come over here. You want to hear it?" And she did it. It was so cute. Yeah.
love that.
So yes, we have fun.
And then the lights stay on.
They do.
Until
They really never turn off. You start taking, and I say it ends at January 31st. They will still be on because it's so cold then, and nobody going out there and taking the lights down. Right. So, but really, what is taken down is he starts kind of dismantling the Christmas part of it in the gazebo.
Right.
But you're still going to see the lights on till at least February. We kind of start taking some of the green down and leaving it red and white for Valentine's Day. Yeah. Then it'll add a little bit. So it changes. It never goes dark. Ever since COVID, the year we opened up from COVID, I was like,
never going
Chip,
dark again.
Yeah, I met with Chip and I was like, this is, the only 2 months out of the year these people come and drive, and everybody would love to see it. And when it's beautiful weather, who wouldn't want to walk their dog out in? And so So now it's lit, but it's just not. It goes Christmas crazy.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
The world's too dark. The world's too dark. So,
love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So it's a bright light always here at night. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, the electric company. Oh, wait. We'll sell more pork chops. So we started selling our moonshine. So that was another thing. The moonshine came in from COVID too. Lots of things. You had to start thinking outside the box. The character event was a big one that helped us quite a bit because we could take them outside when we were doing outside dining under the tents. Then the moonshine, I had a friend that worked in the moonshine business, had illegally done it and became
got that license.
Got that license. He felt really started making some money. And
you are in Kentucky after all.
Exactly.
We all know somebody.
Yeah, we all know somebody. That is true. So he knew well how to do it, and we talked about the desserts being, why couldn't they be flavors of moonshine? You see all these other flavors. And so we started with the first one, which is 100 proof. That's Calvin, so it's 100 proof. But then we went into our second one, was the sawdust pie, and that's got that coconut and that graham cracker, and you got to get that taste, and so the walnuts and the pecans and the drizzle and all the things just have to, in the boat-singer pie. And so they nailed it every time.
I'm telling you, they nailed the coconut pie.
Did they not? It's
Absolutely,
so crazy.
Yeah.
It is how you taste all the flavors.
It was like I was eating dessert.
I know. It is a great little after dinner.
Yes.
Great little. And the boat sinker goes great into coffee, and it's like a little Kahlua taste in there. So it's, that really helped us out. And then just last year we had to have bourbon because Miss Patti. Yeah, again. So Miss Patti got her own bourbon. So that came out less than 2 months ago, and it has done amazing. It's a beautiful bottle. I'm so proud of that bottle. We designed that. It has kind of has her on it and the story of the roses on there. In developing it, Chip had an idea and we had an idea, and the first idea didn't work, just in the label. And so I had a very short time to make the label for the second one. It was a very quick turnaround. And so I told him, I said, we're going to have to make this label quick. And I said, it's going to have roses on it. He said, well, Annie, just make sure it has 5 roses. And I said, 5 roses. How do you want them placed? Because on a label, how do you like it? He said, I want 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Okay. I called the guy. Actually, he called me on the way home. He's like, you got to have this label. We got to have it in by 5 o'clock. And it was like 4:45. And I said, roses. Here I am messing with my necklace again. I said, roses, 3 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Miss Patty's bright face just right there. She's going to be a lady on the bourbon bottle. There are not too many ladies on a bourbon bottle, and they nailed it. It's beautiful. It's out there at Calvin's. You'll have to go check it out.
We did.
Yeah. It is a pretty one.
Beautiful bottle.
And Chip loves to sign them. So if ever we can get Chip to sign one for you. So it is. It's just another step, I guess, in the company. We never even sold alcohol in the past because before the fire, it was a dry county. That was kind of coming back from the fire, deciding if we were going to offer it. It was kind of back and forth. And from that came T. Lawson's across the street. That's our other restaurant. I don't know if you've dined over there, but that is a special place that before we were able to open for the fire, we had to have a place that, first of all, was open for a length of time that your license allows you. Once you get your license to serve alcohol, you have a certain time frame. And we knew we wouldn't meet, or we didn't know if we could get this place open, and we needed a place to train. Because it was different equipment that we'd ever used. We had that older equipment in the restaurant. So we needed to figure out how we were going to make all these different things with different ovens and flour pot bread in a whole different oven than ever had been. Or the meringues, how the humidity in the kitchen is going to change, because that totally changed everything. We've been through a lot on that. So T. Lawson's came from that. T. Lawson's was the founder of Grand Rivers, and he was a copper mining. and King is what they called him. And so the bar over there, that was already a gift shop we owned. It was called So Cool, and she had leased it and had it open for years and years, and she retired, so why not make it another restaurant? So we turned the bar was on the back wall of it, and we turned it, added to it, made it a copper bar, and it's beautiful in there. You'll need to go see it. It's got some old vintage photos of the town prior, and it's kind of like founders of the town. T. Lawson's home is what's so unique about it. Is T. Lawson's home is a Victorian home that sits up on the top of the hill. If you go around the settlement, there's like a square around the settlement, like a drive around it you can take, and it encompasses the whole settlement. And at the top of the hill is T. Lawson's old home, and Chip now, and they own that, and they've lived in that for since I've known them. They restored it. It's a beautiful Victorian, different colored, beautiful home. And so T. Lawson lived in that. So it's kind of, brought it home full circle. We named it T. Lawson's Grill. The chef is able to do specialties over there. This menu, as we talked about, has been the same menu since 1977. And so it's kind of, they want to be creative, as they should be. And so over there he gets to do a lot of his chicken marsala and his, lobster ravioli and just a lot of specialties that he has known for years. So it's an extension, it's an experience, a different experience.
So it's probably a changed up menu.
It is a change. It's right now it's on a fall menu.
Okay.
And if you get a chance, it's amazing food. So it's just adding more for the experience to come to the settlement. And we've got dreams, and we feel like, never say never. We are always popping up stuff in our head, and we've got some ideas that we're shooting around right now. And with the growth of the settlement, that's helped because we have lots of different eyes on us that are willing to listen to the different things we have in mind. So it's exciting. It is exciting. Exciting.
I feel like you all will probably achieve whatever those are.
We're pretty good at putting our mind to something and
Breaking it
carrying
down.
it. Yes, you've got to work through it, and that's a team. Our team is Terry and Kevin, who is the chef, Mitzi, who takes care of the merchandising, Ricky, who does outside. You've got another Terry. Got two Terrys. Terry that does the decorating. I never want to forget him. Ben, who does the merchandising. Braden, he's leaving us. We're going to miss him. There's so many and Beverly, who is my right hand, Miss Patty's house itself. I'll kind of put a little thing out there. It's an amazing house, just 2 steps away. Patty and Bill lived in it, and it's now an Airbnb. So now you can stay at their house. It looks like this because she was as eclectic as the restaurant. So it's really unique. It has some of her own pottery in there. And so you can stay there and walk it's right by the pig tractor. So that Beverly is running that for us. And she does our social media. So there's so many key people that love it, as you can tell, as I love it. And that's what makes it work.
Yeah. And most things that is true of.
Uh-huh.
It's leadership.
The ownership. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
leadership
yes.
and the team that feel ownership
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
those are always key things. So there's a couple of places to stay.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a couple of places to eat.
Yep.
There's many things to enjoy
Yep.
other than just staying and eating.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a lovely spot. Plus, as you mentioned in the beginning, you've got the land between the lakes.
Yes, there's so
You've
much to
got
do.
the recreation on the lake, hiking.
Yeah.
We're planetarium nerds, so we always
Oh,
love to
yes.
go to
Have
the
you been to the
planetarium.
laser show?
Yes,
I love it too.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's little things
Yeah.
that
It
bring,
is. Yeah. Yeah.
it's worth a road trip, right?
It is. It is worth a road
So
trip.
I
Yes.
have 2 things I want to go back to, I think. Number 1, the blue dresses.
Yes.
Do tell me more. So do
Yes.
you all have someone, when you all have a dress change with everybody, do you have someone who makes all of those dresses?
Well,
do you order
we
them from
we
somewhere?
used to. That has been a long thing too since COVID. You just can't
Yeah.
find the people. And the sewing world is leaving us. I will tell you that way. That's an older generation
We
that
do
sewed.
know.
Yes, so it's hard, and the number that we have to have. We'll have 25 to 35 servers on the floor at one time.
Yeah, it's a
so
lot.
yeah, and that's their full time, and we're open every day. So it's lots of dresses. So originally we started doing some in different areas around here, but couldn't find anything that was, because it's free to them and they have to buy them. So it's a cost. It's a very expensive cost, but it's a part of it too.
is part of the
I can't imagine.
experience.
What it would be without them. So funny story about that is we go to Vegas. I also buy for all the shops. spots, myself and Mitzi, and we traveled to Dallas, Vegas, Atlanta. They're getting ready to go to Smoky Mountains, so all across all the area, Nashville. And we had went to Vegas, and we didn't have a dressmaker, and we needed dresses. And we had bought one set from the fire, and then this was 4 years later, and you run out of dresses. So we went, and there's a part at Vegas you can go do a die cut, and we went down there. Long story short, sitting there talking to the lady, and I'm like, well, no, and she's like, we can find this material, we can make, and we kind of had a cost estimate. She's like, yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, where are you from? She goes, Paducah, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
I love it.
I said, Paducah.
You circled all the way back.
I said, well, she goes, where are you? I said, Patti. She goes, you're the Patty's ladies? You're Patti. I was like, we've been looking for dresses for 3 years. But it was, she, sourced out. So
Perfect
we are
timing.
now, we just bought these dresses from her again. So we have now made a great contact with her. She's an amazing lady.
And Paducah is,
Paducah's
a UNESCO creative city.
It is. It
So,
is. And
makes
she
sense.
would have never even, she's so busy she doesn't have to, So she's not one out there and just, I don't know, it just, God put us in our right world because she has been amazing to us. And the dresses, and the girls love them. And,
Love that.
Yeah.
So that is a neat backstory.
It is. And there's so many. There's so many. We can talk for days.
I bet that's true. So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
one thing, and I know this is hard to say,
Yeah.
definitely come during the holidays
Yeah.
if you can,
Yes,
and make
of
sure
course.
you secure a reservation.
Of course.
Before. But what other times during the year just make a lovely time here?
Actually, oh gosh, there's so many. If you ever get to come when you think it's going to snow, come. The
Okay.
settlement, the ice wheel, the stuff outside is beautiful. The lights in the snow. I did a documentary on it too. There's a video up there on YouTube. Lights in the Snow, it's called. Christmas Lights in the Snow. But they twinkle off that. If it's ever a rainy night that is just a little light, they shimmer off those concrete walks. You can get the best pictures if anybody, and they kind of do that fuzzy, I don't know. It's very good for photos. The summer months, of course, the gardens are gorgeous.
Okay.
When you start March and you start getting, Bradford pears are all out there. So it turns
Okay.
completely white, and they're all around the chapel. And then the chapel turns blue at night, so you have all those white Bradford pears, and then that. So that's April-ish, because they do that in April. There's not ever a
So
bad
really,
time.
there's many lovely times.
There's many lovely times. And it's all, I could point out something to look for each time you come, because there's something different out there, of course, because it's nature and it changes. And
again, that is because so much planning has
Oh,
gone
yeah.
into making
It is.
a special place to be.
Yeah, it
Pretty
is.
much
It
any
is.
regular day.
It is. It's somewhere, and someone said, how do you not get tired, or how do you not? I said, it's somewhere that I would make it, that I would want to go. And I want to go here every day, so why wouldn't anybody want to, And I have all the problems of it, but I still want to come here every day because I park my car out by the pink tractor, and I take a walk every day. I don't come straight in that office. If I'm late, I do. But if I have the time, I'll walk around the other side by the shops, and I'll walk through the hoe. And I greet and meet and see all the garden people out there, and just really take a breath and think, this is gorgeous. Not to say the kitchen isn't beautiful, but the biggest kitchen in Kentucky too. I tell you, it's a huge
that's-
kitchen back there. Yeah, it's a huge kitchen back there. Actually it's two kitchens, and they're back to back facing each other, because we we're totally off going off the
Yeah,
thing.
no, these are the things.
But the
people
kitchen,
always love to know.
yeah, well, the kitchen itself is all in this square box behind this wall right here. So you have this aisle that you come down, and we call this Bill's side, and then on the other side is Patty's side, because they both have waitress stations that they go out of, that they go back and forth to. But the kitchen itself is like two kitchens that they can see the line. The fryers and the grillers can look at the other fryers and the grillers, and they're back, face front, and they just. It works. It's a great working kitchen.
So when you all rebuilt, you built the largest kitchen in the state of Kentucky.
I think there's a second one. There's a
Okay.
cafeteria that's larger, and
Okay.
the people that built ours built that cafeteria.
Okay.
So yes, it is. Yes, it
One
is,
of-
and it
one of
is,
the-
and it's. But there again, with that, you're always thinking, was it easier in the past? It was easier. It was a lot easier in the past. You had less people that you had to have. You had. Less. I think the hardest part of it is how everything is so based IT, and when you're down, in this little bitty town that doesn't have a whole lot of Wi-Fi and a whole lot of power and a whole lot of things. It's like you're trying to be ahead of the game. You're to advance for where we are. So we've taken a lot of, we finally are now just learning it, and we've been open since then, you know, and that's getting the correct people that have come in here and knowledge. You've got to have that knowledge of somebody that knows that's been in the first. And Kevin, the chef, he has come in and he has kind of taken that kitchen over. He was in Chicago for the last 15, 20 years, and he has dealt one-on-one with that equipment that we didn't have this equipment before. We were on iron kettles, and literally, you know, so him coming into it has brought a whole, I guess, security feeling, because, you know, somebody, oh, well, I've dealt with that before, and like, we've never seen this even oven before. So, you know, it's again, it's contacts and it's teamwork, and, you know, he's a part of that teamwork that helps. Because one person, for sure, when somebody said, how do you do a cold? It's kind of a hard thing to do in such a large company. And I said, well, first of all, one person couldn't do this. There's no way. There's no way. There's too many bells and whistles and too many departments and too many things you just need that person to bounce ideas off of.
But it seems to be obvious that everyone involved is very passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole place
it's a great
is
staff.
meticulous.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
And to
Appreciate
take the duplicity of a cutting edge
Yes.
kitchen
Yes.
and all you all have rebuilt, I'm sure.
Yes. Yep.
And keeping that 1880s charm.
Yes, that is all. I get a lot of that from the people that it was the day before yesterday. A lady come in here. She goes, I just don't even feel it. I feel like you're false advertising. And I'm like, 1880s. This is not 1880s. And I'm like, well, the cabins. I said, let's take a walk. By the end of the time, she was my best friend, and she understood then, because we went through the whole history of all the cabins and, you know, that part of it. So she was, you know, but so you get that, and then you walk off. You know, it's a
And the
different feeling.
cabins are. Go ahead, and if you
The
don't care,
cabins
share a
are
little bit about that.
cabins are from different counties around that Chip and his family would find. They would dismantle them, take logs apart, renumber them when they got them, you know, brought them back together and put them together. Built kind of in that circle around the gazebo, because that was the last thing for Miss Patti, because she wanted that for the wedding gazebo. And so all the cabins, it's funny, Wagon Wheel, which is where Calvin's is in Wagon Wheel. And that is actually 3 cabins together. And it is a jail and a post office and a corn. So it's funny that you're now serving alcohol out of a jail, you know. So the different area, Ashley's, we were able to purchase that with 4 pork chop dinners. In an old field, it was an old home. Brought it back, and and that was actually one of the first gift shops there outside there, other than yesterday's.
So that whole part of the project was a desire to restore and keep
yes
history.
Yes, keep that history, because I mean, without history, you know, there's everything else had a story, and Chip is the master of all storytelling. He sits at that B&B at the table, and he tells stories from his past and everything about this place, and it's really, and I've sat and listened to him, and now I think that's my part of the teamwork, is I tell the story so people it doesn't fade that Miss Patti is the one that made it everything it is, and it was her dream, and we just carry on her dream and do the best we can to keep it going, because it's a tough world out there, you know. So
even though things have expanded, there's still very much hamburger patty vibes. that take place.
Yeah, it's true. It still gives you that, you know, down home, I think, and everything's home cooked, home battered, home fried, home grilled. There's nothing frozen. It's all, you know, I think it's just a place you can come back to home that you know it's going to be consistent, hopefully. You know, we have our days, you know, we have our problems, but consistent, that you know that you can come back and you'll have a great time, and you're not embarrassed or something won't happen, or you'll have bringing friends that always have their experience will be as good as yours. Yeah. That has always been.
Love that.
Yeah.
So in many ways, you all are still carrying out the vision she set forth.
Carrying it out, yes, with her recipes, her everything came from her, and we have not added. You know, there's the dishes that are on that were dishes that she knew about. You know, we don't just put something on there just because we think, oh, Patti would like this. And that was one thing too. It's a kind of a funny story. Is Chip, the alcohol, you know, he was like, I think Miss Patti would be honored, you know, to be on a bottle of bourbon, because you never know, you know, you're like,
right.
So, you know, we always, of course, get his wishes because it was his mom, so he was honored. Yeah, I was able to give him that bottle. I gave him the second bottle. He knows it too. He goes, "This is the second bottle." We all know where the first one went. No, but he
You
is.
can't give anybody something you don't know if it's good.
That's true. That's
know?
true, Chip. I had to test it out.
That's right. That's
But anyway, he is like you said, it starts from the top, and he is at the top. Him and Michael Lee, and they give back to the, check on everybody. Everybody knows him, and he's always got a smile on his face, and he's the happiest hippie I can say in the world.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Yes,
taking the time
thank
and
you.
having us here. It's been
Yeah.
really super enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you very much.